Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello and a very good day I bid to Shafiz and fellow audience. My name is Balkis binti Zakaria, and today I would like to share with you all about Islamic finance. Islamic finance or Islamic banking is a banking or financing activities that comply with Sharia and its practical application through the development of Islamic economics. The concept can also refer to the investment that are permissible under Sharia. There are many value propositions of Islamic finance that can help banks to make a first strong impressions and give benefits to their customer. First, it helps by assisting financial inclusions. According to the World Bank, they define financial inclusion means that individuals and business have access to useful and affordable financial products and services that meet their needs, such as transactions, payments, savings, credits, and insurance to be delivered in a responsible and sustainable ways. The conventional banking system is based on interest payment at a rate preset on the deposits of money. Therefore, payment and receipt of interest is prohibited under Sharia law. So, Muslims abstain from banking. However, through Islamic banking, financial inclusion can be promoted and bring a larger pool of savings in the local and global economy. Second is by reducing the impact of harmful products and practice. Sharia principle forbid any transactions that support industry or activities which are forbidden in Islam. For example, usury, speculations, and gambling. Third is principle of financial justice. Financial justice is a requirement that helps Islamic finance product functions in a Sharia compliance way. This is because the Western financial systems looks at making profit through interest payment and makes the beneficiary liable for any risk. Islamic finance pathway for the sharing of profits or loss and risk involved in proportional manner. Fourth is encouraging stability in investment. In Islamic finance, investments are approached with a slower, insightful decision-making process when compared to conventional finance. Companies whose financial practice and operations are too risky are usually kept away by Islamic financing company. By performing intensive audits and analyze, Islamic finance promotes the reduction of risk and creates the space for a greater investment stability. Lastly is accelerating economic development. Islamic finance companies certainly have profit creations and growth as their objective, for which they choose to invest in business based on their potential for growth and success. Thus, in the Islamic banking industry, each bank will invest in promising business ventures and attempt to outperform its competitors in order to attract more funds from its depositors. This will eventually result in a high return on investment both for the bank and the depositors. This is unlikely in a conventional bank where depositors redeem returns on their deposits based on a predetermined interest rate. Now, before going further, I will explain the Islamic financial system in Malaysia. The Islamic financial system in Malaysia has witnessed a tremendous growth in demand, acceptance, and development since its introduction in 1963. It began with the establishment of the Malaysian Pilgrim Fund Board or Tabung Haji and the country's first Islamic bank, which is Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, BIMB, which began operations on 1 July 1983. Since then, BIMB has become the core component of Malaysia's Islamic financial system, with its initial objective confined to the development of a viable and modern alternative to meet financial needs. The Malaysian model is now one of the most advanced Islamic banking systems in the world. Next is the Islamic financial structure and mechanism, which are murabahah or the markup, profit or cost plus, ijarah or leasing, mudarabah or profit and loss sharing, and musyarakah or profit and loss sharing joint venture. Murabahah technique is used extensively to facilitate the trade finance activities of Islamic financial institutions. The Islamic financial institution purchases and takes title to the necessary equipment or good from a third party. Depending on the accounting treatment desired, it will do so either directly or through an agent and may use its own funds or those of its investor. The Islamic financial institution then sells on the equipment or goods to its customer at cost plus a reasonable profit. Ijarah or leasing designed for financing machinery, equipment, buildings, and other capital assets. The Islamic financial institution or a subsidiary will purchase the asset in question and lease it to the ultimate customer for an agreed rental, which may be fixed in advance or subject to occasional review by mutually acceptable third party, such as an international firm of accountants. While mudarabah, this arrangement involves two parties, the managing trustee and the beneficial owner, Rab al-Mal. The Islamic financial institution may either put up all the fund itself and undertake responsibility for investing them, or alternatively, it can provide funds to the customer who then acts as mudarib. The funds so provided will usually be those of its investors rather than the Islamic financial institution, with the Islamic financial institution acting as trustee for those investors and thereby assuming fiduciary responsibility. Lastly is musyarakah. Musyarakah is very similar to the mudarabah contract, except that the customer put up part of the equity. The Islamic financial institution and the customer provide financing for a specified project in agreed proportions. All parties have the right to participate in the project, but the party also have the right to waive such rights. Furthermore, in the event of loss, both parties will bear the loss in proportion to their participation. Profit and loss are shared in direct proportion to the respective contribution of the participants. We already know the structure and mechanism of Islamic finance. Now, let's look what's the difference between ijarah and conventional leasing. Ijarah is a mode of Islamic leasing contract involving a lessor and a lessee, where the lessor transfers the right to use a specific asset to the lessee for a predetermined length of time and in return for some periodic rental payment. The lessor, however, retains the right of ownership of the asset and is legally bound to bear the risk of the assets, which also includes obligations to repair any damage caused naturally or due to wear and tear. The lessee has to compensate any damage to the asset arising out of his negligence. While for conventional leasing, is a financial agreement that is no different from an ijarah economically. But while making comparison between ijarah and conventional operating lease contract, It is interesting to note that an operating lease contract differs on three counts, which is the cost of acquiring the asset is not amortized during the leasing period. Second is the lessor is responsible for bearing the maintenance cost of the asset. And third is the asset is usually returned to the lessor at the end of leasing period. That's all from me. Thank you for lending me your ears and eyes. Bye-bye.